question and we cover the question. I think we must start with the old question, is South Africa working? To me the answer is no. And can South Africa be safe? Can we make it or get it to work? And the answer is no. We've seen that recently when that little fellow in his red overall started spouting a lot of drivel. We've seen it with this new law that's going to come in about employment equity. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to lose their jobs. People, whites, colours, Muslims are going to lose their jobs. There's no way we can save South Africa. It's impossible. So what's the alternative? Shall we all go and vote for one single political party and hope to be safe? To me the answer is no. Why not? We hear about moonshot pacts and we hear about coalitions and we hear about all these interesting political solutions. A coalition to me is as strong as a chain. You know the saying, a chain is as strong as the weakest link. You get all these guys sitting together and they're going into coalitions and they're all buddies and mates for life and whatever. And then one guy decides, I had enough, I'm going to cross the floor, I'm going to go to the other party, they offer me more, and your coalition falls apart. Apart from that, the coalition is also not sanctioned under anything except the will of the participants in that coalition. It's not sanctioned by law, it's not sanctioned by government or the constitution or anything. A coalition is a loose agreement. You cannot base your future on a loose agreement. Cape Exit is well known. We all know we're not a political party. We're well known for saying that the solution is not political. So we coined the word vote bait, which simply means that political parties will use things out there and make you believe that this is going to happen and please vote for us. Now the largest piece of vote bait you'll see going up into 2024, which is I believe the 10th of May for the election, is devolution of power. You've probably all heard about this already. Let's devolve power to the Western Cape. Let's make policing a Western Cape thing. And let's make education and whatever a Western Cape thing. We will sort out policing. We govern the best. We've got the best province in South Africa. I always say if you've got the best province, doesn't mean you're good by a long chalk. It's just not as bad as the other, very bad. Or the opposite to worse. So let's say we govern policing. Let's say that over the hat, chairman already said on numerous times, forget about it, but let's say we get policing. If I'm the ANC, I would actually give policing to the Western Cape. I'll say, yeah, go. I'm devolving policing to you, go and do policing. Because you're only going to get the budget that's within the national government at the moment for policing, which is 83 or 183 million or whatever, it's a small figure. So the moment you take on policing, I will flood your province with criminal elements. Yeah. I will totally exhaust your resources. You think you've got a shortage of personnel and police vans now, you'll have a problem. I will absolutely cause havoc in your province. Now you've committed yourself to the people of the Western Cape and you're going to sort out policing, so you better shape up and get it sorted out. What will the local government have to do? If you look back to 2019, the local Western Cape government submitted a draft bill on railways. That's another favourite topic they want to develop, is railways. Go and search for the draft railway bill of 2019. Look at section 5. It says two things. It says that the Premier of the province will have the authority to actually raise capital or income from whichever sector he sees fit. So you can raise your taxes. And it then further says that certain sections of the railway, the service, will be devolved out to municipalities. And it says if any municipality finds itself short of funds, it can actually raise funds in any way it sees fit, which is your taxes. Make no mistake. Anything that's being done comes from your pocket. There's no government in this world that actually raises its own funding. They live from your tax money. I live in Tableview, so let's say policing is really involved. So Tableview cops go out, they actually, there's a hell of a lot of good cops in Tableview. They go out, they run around like mad, they catch the criminals, and they take this guy and they send him to court. And here's your first problem. Policing is now devolved, but not the judiciary. That's still national government. So this one goes to court. 99 out of 100 times the docket will be lost, so you'll walk out again. But let's say he actually gets to court, he gets convicted. So now he goes to prison. So there's your second problem. Correctional services is not being devolved, it's national government. So you've devolved the power which sits under two very heavy constraints after that, but you must now make it work. So that's why we say, no, devolution will not work. Devolution of power is also not sanctioned under international law. It's a decision by your national government to devolve that power to you. And it's very clearly stated internationally by a number of political experts and scholars that the devolved power may be taken back by the government at their whim. And we had a case, I think it was in Costa, where the water, there was no water. I mean, the pumps got stolen and the pipes got stolen, and the community got together and they actually reinstated the water lines, the pumps. They got everything working, opened the tap, we got water, and they got taken to court by the ANC municipality. And the municipality won, because the court said, in a sovereign country, you cannot interfere with the services of government. So they lost everything they had. Now the same with devolution. So to us, it's a total waste of energy to go and pursue something which you may lose again at the end of the day. So from day one, we very clearly said, we want sovereign independence. We're still saying this today, and we will keep on saying it until we get it. Because there is no devolution, is putting a plaster on a gunshot wound. It's not going to work. So we get the, I'm just going to cover one or two of the old arguments that it will never be allowed. I want to quickly jump back to coalitions. There's one party that says that they can force the ANC under 40%. It's a done deal. They will actually govern together with the ANC and everything will be better. Now I want to tell you that there's 400 seats in the National Parliament. If you get the ANC to 40%, they've got 160 seats. For any major decision or change in the Constitution to be accepted, you have to have 2/3 majority in Parliament, which means the 1/3 objecting against it cannot be more than 137 seats. So the ANC sits with 160. If 137 says no, it's no. So you're in a coalition with the ANC, you force them to 40%, but you get this right. So they still hold the majority vote. Or they can veto whatever you put through. So now we come to the talking about 2/3. People say the ANC won't allow it. We've made this clear many, many times. Independence is not for the ANC to decide about. Independence or secession is sanctioned under international law, under Articles 1 and 20 of the Humanitarian and Political and the African Charter. So we don't have to ask the ANC permission to secede. What we have to do is we have to tick a couple of boxes. We have to have majority support. That is where the 1.6 million comes in. 1.6 million is 50% plus one of the registered voters in the Western Cape. People will say, yeah, but the whole of South Africa has got to vote on independence, in the referendum. That's not true. The area that wishes to secede will vote in the referendum. You cannot have people living in Northwest voting about what we want in the Western Cape. So the 50% plus one is the most crucial part. If we do not have the support of the majority of the people, it doesn't matter what other boxes you tick. You can tick all the other boxes, it's not going to fly. One box is you must have a geographical area, which is the Western Cape. You must have a shared common language, which is Afrikaans, which is 49%. You must be able to trade with other countries, which we know very well we can do. And you must be able to form your own government. Western Cape had its first constitution, I think, in the Batavian times already. We're used to governing ourselves. In fact, we're the only province that's got a constitution. The others doesn't have one. So we can tick all the boxes. It is to get to the point of the support. And once we get to the support, we'll audit that database, and then we go through the local diligence or the local remedies, which will be, we have to ask the local government, provincial government, to actually sanction a referendum. Now let's set aside the fact that we know that, like Section 231 in the Constitution, the referendum clause in the Constitution and no law ever written to underpin it. We know that. That is what this whole referendum bill was about a couple of months ago, or the last year or two. So we know that. Yet, you have to ask the local premier that you want a referendum. You show the support, the proof of support. If he says no, which we know he's done already 2 or 3 times, you have to go to the president, say we have the support, we comply to international requirements, we want you to actually sanction a referendum. Now you can't call one because according to the Constitution you can only call a national one. We know of course he's going to say no, which is fine. But then we've actually exhausted the local remedies. Then we carry on going on the international route where we appeal to the international instruments of law and say we want a referendum. We look at our growth and we started we registered 31st of January 2018, which is 5 years ago. We've got 837,000 plus mandates. The growth at the moment is slow. COVID, the only good thing that came from COVID is that it actually forced people to sit behind their PCs and they became aware of what's going on in South Africa. And we had tremendous growth during that phase. We are growing every week, we're growing. Not as fast as we want to, but we will get back to that stage where we have good growth. And the sentiment out there is that the only thing that will save us is actually independence. We haven't had an alternative on the table yet. We always say, Warren always says, if you can give me an alternative to independence that will work for the Western Cape, put it on the table, we look at it, and if it's good, we will support you. We haven't had one yet, because I don't think there is one. So, I think that is where I want to open it up to you. And I can carry on for 2-3 hours. If you've got any questions about it, or if you've got any suggestions about it, let me hear. It's a job that people, Chris actually, what Chris mentioned just now is he went out to a couple of places and people recognized him. To me it's also interesting because my wife walked into a shop the other day and it was a Polish shop owner. And they started talking about load shedding, which is the favorite subject in South Africa nowadays. And my wife said to her, do you know about Cape Exit? She said, and this woman just pulled off and she started telling her about Cape Exit and they all joined and how it's a fantastic idea. Don't know from the bar so. So I think what we must not underestimate is the fact that the message is getting out there. It's sitting with a lot of people. Some people will say, no, it won't work. And next year it will be your biggest support. You will sign up. So we must not doubt, and our awareness team, absolutely, I mean, kudos to you guys. It's really the awareness team is typical of the spirit that we've got from Cape Exit. And they're out there on Saturdays, they're waving their flags and they're giving out their pamphlets and they're spreading the word. To me personally, that is the spirit of Cape Exit. Warren and Sadet and myself, we can run around and jump through hoops and whatever as much as we want to. If we didn't have this team behind us, a bunch of great people doing this, we would have been stuck, I think, still at square one. So to you guys, absolutely thank you. It's terrific. You must actually join them on a Saturday to see the spirit that they've got. They don't have a braai every Saturday, but the spirit is absolutely fantastic. And it's something that would motivate anybody that's in doubt that independence can work. So I'm going to give it to you for questions.
Tell me, what could have been the impact of this thing? Say it happens. First of all, you've got a government that owns Goodwood, all these places. We physically don't have to buy that back from the old South Africa. So, with what money? Okay. And income-wise, if you look at the income from Johannesburg, and been to Cape Town. Most of your millionaires from Johannesburg stay in Cape Town.
No, no.
They operate their businesses from here. I'm from Joburg. I know. So the people are staying here. The people are, sorry? The people with the money from Joburg, that companies on Joburg. They don't get taxed on the old companies.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't see Cape Town surviving just on tourism.
Okay, a couple of facts around that. At the moment, the contribution to the GDP from the Western Cape is in excess of 770 billion rand a year. We get back about 8% of that. We're running the Western Cape government on a budget of about 80 billion, roughly 78, 80 billion rand. First of all, if we can keep whatever we send north, that's the first jump off point. The second jump off point is we are going to institute a system called TEAL, Total Economic Activity Levy. TEAL is very simply based on all money going into any bank account, whether it's private, corporate, doesn't matter. It's taxed at 0.5% going in and 0.5% going out. So if you get R1 going through the account, you get taxed at 1%. The guys that actually wrote TEAL calculated that your tax base will increase 27-fold. And then you can do away with your corporate tax, your personal tax, your VAT, your import tax, your customs and excise. You can do away with all of that. Now, TEAL is not a foreign concept. There's a lot of countries that apply TEAL. First of all your tax havens are basically TEAL based on a zero tax rate. Places like Singapore, those guys apply the full TEAL or parts of the TEAL component. Then coming to places like, let's call it government assets, Simonstown and things like that. At the point of secession, the geographic area that secedes becomes the owner of all assets within that area. That is international law. There's also no international law that states that at the moment we know South Africa's international debt of 4 trillion rand. Just over 4 trillion probably. And we know that conservatively the money that's been stolen through corruption is also around 4 trillion. Let's say the national debt is 4 trillion. There is no law that states that the seceding country is going to adopt any part of the debt of the national debt. So once we comply to the boxes, we tick the boxes, we can walk away clean and say, guys, well, that's it, we're done, you keep your national debt, we're out of here. Now, ever when Belgium seceded from the Netherlands, they adopted the approach of accepting the percentage or portion of the national debt equal to what their population is to the national population. So let's say national debt is 4 trillion. We adopt 10% because our population is about 10%. So we're adopting 400 billion of the national debt. That is kind of a gentleman's agreement. Once you do that, international law says the host country cannot have any reason to refuse your secession. Although you don't even have to do it. So if we adopt 400 billion and our GDP contribution annually is 770 billion, easy sum to make. And people will say, but you can't survive, you don't have gold and diamonds. We've got about 124 materials. I'll talk about tourism. 124 base materials, which is gypsum and a lot of other materials in the Western Cape. So we can survive. If you listen to economists like Magnus Heistek, even Davy Ruth, some time ago they all said, yeah, you know what, we hear about this independence thing, a bit of a pipe dream, you know, it's not going to work. Listen to Magnus Heistek, he's got a place in Daldervie after his last visit to the Western Cape. He said, I think the only place that can survive in South Africa is the Western Cape, with independence. So from the fiscal point of view, we will not have a problem to survive. In fact, it's known, apart from our credit rating, which has gone through 10 basements already, it's a known fact, and I've been in business for 40 years plus. No business person or organization will invest in South Africa now. No one's done invest. But we had numerous business people saying to us, the moment you go independent, we'll invest in the Western Cape. So from an investment point of view, the Western Cape will outgrow, well, to outgrow South Africa at this stage is not very difficult. But we will have the growth that the first world country will have. That answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Last question, electricity. Goodwood doesn't generate enough power to keep the Western Cape running. Even with skim dust and so we don't be sure. We're going to start off with our they can basically, you can buy from Eskom, but the way Eskom is laying out, it's going to be a different one. From itself. Now, I know the Cape Town municipality is busy making plans, but it's still going to take years and years and years for that.
Yeah, the plans they're talking about, I think, is about 15 years or something before it comes into effect. What I can tell you is I agree with you that although nuclear power is the best way to go, I agree with you that Goodwood is running on a very dangerous extension of its life. I can also tell you that there are numerous people at the moment looking at alternative green energy, which is not wind or solar or nuclear, and by all indications, we will be okay. Investment coming from people into energy, into the Western Cape. I'm not talking about local government investment because they're looking at solar for blockade. There's a lot of investment here to bring in short-term solutions. And being in energy myself, and my friend Warren there is also in energy. There's a lot of role players in this field. Guys that's not putting their head above the parapet at the moment because of the status quo in South Africa. But we're all moving ahead with the assumption that we have to kind of take Goodwood out of the equation and make this work. And there's a number of solutions. I'm personally involved in the company.
The cheapest is still nuclear. You get us out of trouble.
At the moment, I think we're paying, I don't know, what, R3.80 or something a kilowatt hour. Some of the paying also are paying this. These guys are looking, some of the alternative proposals are coming in at something like R120 a kilowatt hour. So it's going to
line municipality.
no, the departure point is to supply direct to the end consumer. Yeah, and those
states, I think,
nothing much
charge the municipality $180 and they just don't charge.
Yeah.
Just ready to charge back to us.
Well, that's the problem. Your service provider who's sitting upstream determining the price. So if they can supply straight to the consumer, you cut out everything upstream, you cut out supply, grid maintenance, all of that gets cut out.
That makes a huge income of the municipality. Cape Town relies on the electricity bill to survive.
Well, post-independence, Cape Town is not going to exist as a municipality as it is now. It will go to a canton system, and they will be too thankful not to sit with energy supplies. But you know the Cape Town municipality sits with about 20 billion rand in the bank.
Yeah, I know. Our rates of taxes went up by 35%. 35%. Our property's growing, but the area is being neglected. Everything's going backwards.
Yeah. You're talking about Joburg or yeah? Yeah.
This month actually went up by 35%.
Okay, I'll mention the canton system. So I don't know who knows the canton system or a canton system. Canton system, obviously, if you talk canton, you talk Switzerland. The Switzerland, 380 years, Warren? 380 years or something. Switzerland has been going as a direct democracy. So I often get this question about, so post-independence, you guys are going to have a problem because the new world order will take over. It's a real threat. Why is the new world order able to take over countries? It's very easy because just about all of the countries in the world runs on a one-party state system. One party controls the country. So in South Africa, the ANC controls the country. So if I can control the president, and I can control the National Executive Council, which is another 6 people, I actually control South Africa. In a direct democracy, it doesn't work like that. Direct democracy works on a canton system, and I'll just compare it to a municipality, where the municipality of Goodwood would actually govern itself. Like in the old days, when we had the Goodwood municipality and Barrow municipality, each municipality or a number of neighbouring municipalities we call a canton, they will literally govern themselves from the aspect of own affairs, refuse, fire, policing, traffic policing, everything. And we can make a decision in Goodwood which Barrow may decide not to follow. We may say the speed limit
Not
is
vehicles.
Vehicle
mistakes.
correct. We can say speed limit of 50, Barrow can say speed limit of 60. And the cantons in the 6 areas in the Western Cape will form in that specific area, in each area, district government. And the district government will elect people to go to a very small central government. Central government will determine foreign policy, defense, things like that.
But central government pulls income tax.
No, because you're working under TEAL. You will have a new reserve system where the central government won't get a tax income. Okay. So if I now want to, if I'm Mr. New World Order, I want to take over the independent Western Cape, I can go and bribe the central government. But I can't bribe the guys included because they're still making their own decisions. So it's very difficult to penetrate a system, the system of a direct democracy, unlike a system of one-party state. The Western Cape at the moment is a one-party state. And people are voting, but not for who they want to. I mean, they've got to follow the party lines that's prescribed. So that is, in essence, is the canton system. It's a direct democracy. Like I always say, I can't decide what happens in Mitchell's Plain because I don't live there. They've got different needs, they've got different requirements. They can't decide what needs to happen in Table View. Each decide on his own. In actual fact, we've already formed 2 cantons, which is the Fisher Canton, Keith and Melbourne from the Table View canton, just to get the concept out there for people to understand. It's still early stages. It's still difficult to grasp the concept of a canton because we've been brainwashed over the years that every 4 years you go and you draw your little cross and you go and you pray, please let us just be better, let it become better, let's have a better government. And all the politician does is he steps back and here's the party facade. You don't get past that facade to get to me. That protects me. Canton system works different. Canton system is not going to, people of the canton is not going to wait for 4 years. If you don't do your job, they get together, there's a certain number which is predetermined of people to vote in favor of any issue. You get together, the canton will hold a referendum and your councillor will be out tomorrow, not in 4 years' time. So that makes it the best effective form of government you can get. That's it. B. Dan moet jy maar vra, Peer. Dan moet jy maar vra.
Die natuurlik iemand wat nou daar nie verstaan dat vir ons governement wat nou in charge is, besig by alles die mooi, alles op te fok. Alles is down to the drain. Daar gaan niks meer aan nie. Nou as enige iemand dit nie kan verstaan nie, dan is daar nie kan word. Dit is maar basically alles is daar.
Die breinvrek is
Correct. Jy het niks werk meer nie en alles word gesteel. Nou as iemand nie kan verstaan hoekom met julle idee moet julle aanvat met hy steenheid en hy perre vir 'n referendum. Hulle gaan die 2024 eleksie oorvat. Daar's nie manier nie. Jy het versiek vir donders en takkie chicken en dan stem jy weer voor. So, fuck dat man. Ons hou nie, dit is, okay, nou sê dit nie, maar hulle is nie geskool nie. Nee, hulle is nie geskool nie, want wou vir die fokker skool, dan praat my maar. So, moer, moet jy nou skool toe gaan. Sorry vir my taal, maar dit is die feit.
Yeah. There's a couple of things we must realize. I think what we must understand is the dangers that we're facing. People say, us, all of us, it's the type of facing. The one danger is expropriation without compensation. Now we had a meeting the other day in Belgium and I said, can anybody tell me if I say expropriation without compensation, what am I talking about? The one lady said farmland. I said, no, you're wrong. Any asset. Your car, your caravan, your boat, your intellectual property, your mother-in-law, your, sorry, I didn't say that. Anything. I spoke to the guys in Orania. Now we get this quite often. You want another fault star like Orania? No, you're totally wrong. I said the other day in the interview on this one radio program or TV program, I said, no, we don't want the fault star. We don't want to chase everybody out of the Western Cape. We don't want another Orania because Orania is a model of self-determination, but it's a private development. Orania is a farm called Vleiskraal Beleggings or investments. And I said one day to what's your friend that we spoke with at Boshoff? I said to Boshoff one day, you have a serious problem in Orania. Because if the South African government comes to you with this law that's now already been approved, expropriation, and say, give me the keys to Orania, you have to give it the keys to Orania. You're part of South Africa. It doesn't matter that you can do your own refuge or have your own money or whatever. You're part of South Africa, so you're threatened by the expropriation without compensation. It's not going to go away. These jokers that sang this weekend, they're pushing for a thing called RET, which is rapid economic transformation, which is 10 times or 100 times worse than expropriation without compensation. They want everything to be taken now. These are the dangers that, and especially in the Western Cape, because we are in the better governed province and we don't have potholes, we don't have people here are living in this perception that everything goes well here. It will never come to our door. It will never happen. You know what? Farmers get murdered in Pakistan, in Durban. People get hijacked like robots. That is the broken window theory. Don't fix the window. It's going to creep in and in and in. And expropriation and RET will catch us with a bang and then it's too late. We say, okay, but we should have done something. That's why we need to do something now. And again, I'll say, the only something that we see that we can do, cut the ties with South Africa and just go our own merry way. Yeah.
Look, I mean, everything that you said, I've either heard on one of your talks or on the radio station, on whatever platform, right? Unfortunately, I'm looking around me here, and there are fewer people that look like me.
There's too many whiteys.
Yeah, and also the thing is, if you don't have people like me involved, it's not going to happen.
Yep.
You can do as much as you want.
We need penetration in those areas.
That's a fair question, and we've been asked that before, so I should walk back to the mic. The question is, basically the question is, we look at CapEx and we see white faces. Now, that's the bottom line of it. I say, let's look at why Cape Exit exists. Cape Exit exists to drive this bus up to the point of a referendum for the independence of Western Cape. After that, Cape Exit is not going to form part of the new government. We're not going to be, Warren is not going to be the president, I'm not going to be the governor or fisheries or whatever. We have no vested interest in the Western Cape post-independence. So, to me, quite frankly, I don't care who drive the bus. If it had to be 3 black dudes, coloured dudes, or boy dudes, or some It's cool, as long as we drive this bus to where we need to go, which is the referendum. But your question is valid, because you guys suffered before 1994, you're suffering after 1994. The choice is yours, which one is the worst. But you had no relevance before 1994, and you had no relevance since 1994 up to today. If I look at the poor Khoi guys, the Khoi has been fun. In actual fact, they've got a cannabis garden now, I think outside the Union building. They've camped there, they've built houses there, and they're sitting outside the parliament, hoping to speak to the president about the plight of the Khoi. The best answer they had in 30 years is we will consider land claims, but only going back to 1913. The Khoi is a bit older than that. Okay. So it's a matter of let's pacify them and hope they go away. Now this is the thing about the direct democracy. Colours in the Western Cape is 49%. Whites are 16%. In a direct democracy where a community decides about what happens, doesn't matter what your colour is. Doesn't matter what, it's not based on colour, it's based on who's in the area, who knows best.
Sorry man. Look, everything you're telling me, I already know. Everything. I know the fuel system, I've listened to everything, right? My question here is that there are not enough coloured people participating. And the problem is, I mean, I speak to them. I mean, I've got family on the Cape Flats, I've got family all over, I live in the suburbs. I interact with all these people, right? But it's not happening. And when I look around me, all I see is, okay, I do see a colored person, but I see white, and to be honest, all the white people as well. So what I'm trying to and I do monitor the Cape exit number growing, right? And I know the predictions that you guys had, and I know that once you get to a certain point, you expect an acceleration, and I know all these things, right? But the fact remains, it can't happen without the colored people, right? And I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it's a good thing that will have relevance and stuff like that. They all want, and to everybody that I've ever spoken to, they all want it. They all want it. But the sense is, it's an impossibility. I don't think it's got to do with the legacy of where we come from and how we were treated in the past, and that the future that we're currently experiencing, that things won't change. But something is not being done sufficiently to the colored community to bring them on board. And I know you have conversations with what's his name, Faisal from Cape Colored Congress. No, you don't. Okay, well everybody else speaks to him. And I know his thoughts on it and stuff like that. But the thing is, we need to engage these people. And if you're telling me the main and the most important thing is that we get to that 1.6 and one person, right? Because I can't wait. I've got kids. I've got an 8-year-old and a 16-year-old. If come 2024. And what I'm anticipating is going to happens. Even with this bloody moonshot and all these other things. We need it.
I hear you. Ali asked if you can answer you, Ali.
Something, I agree with everything you've said. In fact, you have not only asked the question, but you've answered it. I have been trying, since I got involved with the organization, to change the color palette. That's what I've been calling it. The color palette of the organization in the face of the public. In other words, Facebook, all the events when we go out and do event or what do we call it, Andre? Awareness events and such. And I've spoken to Des and Warren and Andre about the fact, what you're talking about right now, about the fact that there is not enough of a mixed palette, which there needs to be. And so these guys, this one here especially said, make a plan, do something. And so I have been doing something. And therefore I can answer your question right now because I did something this week.
Okay.
I went to a colored person who is a leader in his community And I said, we've always been talking about Cape Exit. He knows he knows what you know. And I said to him, why don't you come in and be part of our leadership and help with the changing of the palette? Straight away he said to me, how much are you giving me?
Oh, really?
I said to him, hang on a second, what do you mean how much? He said, your directors must get paid. How much are you willing to give me? I said, my directors pay. They don't get paid. My directors have carried this company or this organization to this point. Now there are about 170, correct me if I'm wrong, about 170 to 180 people that have actually made donations along the way. 170 out of 834,000, 838,000 almost. So the apathy that I've experienced now, having dealt with colored leaders and asking them to join the leadership, not just the organization. The first question that keeps coming up is, what am I going to get out of it? And you've just rightfully said, and that's my answer to them, that's what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get the knowledge that your children and their children are not going to live in the same situation you've lived in, because things have got to change, and they can only change if we all stand together. And all is not colored and white. All is colored, white, black, Indian, Chinese, whoever lives in this province and has always done so, needs to stand together and work together to making this province what it can be. Now, it can't be anything good within the situation we're sitting. So we have got to get to that thing that you've just spoken about, the 1.6. That is our first point that we want to get to. Now, with all of that in mind, myself and Andre and Kevin, there's Kevin, the three of us are going to be going on a road trip starting on the 28th of September. And we're going up the west coast. And we're stopping at every little dorpie we can along the way. And we've now, after what's just happened in Saldanha, we're definitely going to be spending a day in Saldanha, in Dyersville and in Saldanha itself. Because we are needing everybody to see that this is not a white thing. It's not a color thing, in fact. This is for every one of us that live in the Western Cape and want to keep living here under different circumstances. Because our circumstances are not going to change under the umbrella that we live in now.
I want to add to what Eddie said. Our doors been standing open since the 31st of January 2018 for anybody to step up. Now, one thing we will not do is we will not fall into the black economic empowerment trick. We will not appoint people because he's colored or black or Khoi or San or Griqua or whatever, just to have the color ballot line. The three directors of Cape Exit are all holding down day jobs. So the first thing I'll say to guys, if you want to be a director at Cape Exit, you're most welcome. First of all, you're going to learn everything about independence, not only locally, internationally. You have to be able to quote to me like the 3.5% rule from Erika Chenoweth about the support to a cause. You have to tell me what Articles 1 and 20 is about. You've got to explain to me what the Montevideo Convention is about. You've got to talk to me about the Vienna Protocols. Get the idea. You have to do your homework. But then, apart from that, after your 8-hour workday, you've got to be able and willing to put in another 6 or 7 hours for Cape Exit. Every weekday. You've got to be able to understand in Goodwood on a weekend and talk about things. It takes commitment. Before we even get to the level of how much am I going to get paid. It takes commitment, and we've had a lot of people pick up the torch, and when it gets to where your chair is, it drops it. Because this is something we do because of passion, not because of what we get out of it. They know, Warren and them know, my favorite saying or quote is, I would rather go fishing En ek beloof vir jou, ek sê julle wil gaan visvang, as om hier te staan en praat. But it's our passion. And if anybody comes to that and says, I want to become a director of Cape Exit, we will welcome you, but you're going to have to take the petrol and do it. It's not because the door's not open. It's because to do this is not an easy job, and I'm going to follow that up very quickly by saying, and we can do that difficult job because we have great people supporting us and surrounding us and doing this job together with us. So, I understand your point, and the answer is that anybody is welcome. I don't care whether your surname is Van der Merwe or Yankees or Shabalala. If you can do this job, brother, you come and join us. But it's going to be a slog, it's going to be hard work. Because I can assure you, we go back now, and the two of us are going to go in Facebook and WhatsApp and answer another million questions.
Sorry. My thing is this, right? Sorry I'm being like this.
No, yeah.
But you've got over 800,000 people that have given you the mandate, right? I personally know, because I've given mine. I've asked my family, I've asked whoever I can speak to actually do it, right? So the mandates are there. I still don't understand how 800,000 can represent mandates when I sit here, I don't see representation of the land. That's an important part, right? And look, the fact that you that directors don't get paid, you've said it numerous times. You said the reason why you're doing this is for your children and your grandchildren. So the reasons you've given me, I completely agree with. I've said everything that you guys say completely. I start if anybody ever asks me, I ask him one question first. I ask him, do you want Cape Town to always be are you happy with the way things are? And they're always saying no. Then I ask him, do you believe, would you be happy if Cape Town was separate from South Africa? If the answer is no, then I leave them alone. The answer is yes, and then I explain. If that's me, I get them on the till system every single time. Right? So I know what is being said and how. There's something, I don't know the answer. I'm sitting here and I know what I'm saying and I'm suggesting that you guys have an answer. I don't have the answer. But you need brown people involved and more involved in the situation. If this thing is even going to move in direction. I know that they're dealing on other fronts. I know about the CIAG and I know about all those other things. But if a memorandum is the one thing that can get us to the finish line quicker, then that's what we need, because I'm scared of 2024. I'm deadly scared of 2024.
Let me just answer you on that. I've been out there. Right? You ask people to join. Yes, I'll come, don't worry. I'm not talking about the colored people. I'll come and help you. You say to me, Saturday we will be standing there. And they come, nobody pitches. Why? People don't want to come. They all talk, but they don't want to do anything. First of all, I got to get transport to get there. If I don't have a car, and if I have a car, I need petrol. I don't have the money, so I can't come there. I'm not asking them to pay me my petrol money. I'm a pensioner. And what I get, I put to one side, I say, okay, that's my money for Cape Exit for the month. And that's how I go. And someone said, I'll say to them, listen, I can't come this month, I'm quite broke. Then I hear, okay, don't worry, we'll come pick you up. Or we'll make a plan to get there. But our own people won't step up to the plate. Why, I don't know. It's not easy asking somebody or you're looking somebody else and say, when you come out and assist us. I've been into the areas which was playing all the county, it's difficult. You get one or two people who say, yes, I'll come around, and 1 or 2 days they come out, or once they come out. No, it's not nice, I don't like doing this. Because you're standing for 3-4 hours. And then the next week you don't find, they don't come out anymore. And you can't pick people also, so.
Sorry, can I ask you, what is your name?
Ricardo.
Ricardo. Ricardo, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you 2 questions.
That was the colour, so hyper colour, that was the coloured man standing there. You think there'd be more coloured support? No. So where do you think the support should come from?
You see, but that's the thing. Like I said, I don't know the answer.